Welcome, everyone. Today, we are not here to talk about basic motivation. We are not here to share simple success tips or talk about habits, money, or productivity. Today, we are going to explore the most powerful force in your entire life. It is your mind. This is the engine that controls your decisions, your reactions, your fears, your confidence, and your future. Most people think life is what defeats them, but that is not true. It is their own mind that defeats them. They lose the battle in their thoughts long before they ever lose in reality. They give up on the inside before they ever fail on the outside. They doubt themselves before they even try. And then they say life is too hard. But life did not stop them. Their mind did. Here is the dangerous truth. If your mind is weak, even a small opportunity looks scary. If your mind is strong, even a big problem looks like training. Your mind can be your prison, or it can be your weapon. In this video, I will show you how it works. I will explain how your thoughts shape who you are, how your beliefs silently control what you do, how your subconscious mind runs your life while you are not even looking, and most importantly, how you can take control. Because once you control your mind, you control your direction. And once you control your direction, you control your life. As you watch this video, you are also improving your English naturally. Listen carefully, learn new words, and train your mind at the same time. If you want powerful life lessons while improving your English, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Lesson 1. The hidden truth. Your mind creates your life. Your life today is not an accident. It is the result of your repeated thoughts. Let me explain this clearly. Everything in your world starts with a single thought. A thought becomes a decision. A decision becomes an action. An action becomes a habit. A habit becomes your identity. And your identity becomes your destiny. This is the chain. Thought, decision, action, habit, identity, destiny. If you change the first part, you change everything after it. But most people try to change their destiny without changing their thinking. That never works. You might think your thoughts are small, but they are not. They are seeds. If you plant thoughts like, I am not good enough, I cannot do this, or I always fail, those thoughts slowly become your beliefs. And beliefs become your limits. Then you start behaving exactly like those beliefs. You do not try fully. You do not take risks. You do not push yourself. And then you say, see, I failed. But you did not fail because of reality. You failed because of the belief you accepted from a long time ago. You were programmed by parents, by teachers, by society, and by your own fears. Maybe someone once said, you are not smart. Maybe you failed once and decided you are bad at this. Maybe you felt embarrassed and decided you should stay quiet. These small moments created deep beliefs, and those beliefs started controlling your life without you even noticing. That is the power of the mind. It runs silently, but it runs everything. Lesson 2. The mental trap. You lose in your mind before you ever lose in reality. Most people are not defeated by actual failure. They are defeated by their own imagination. They experience a total loss inside their head before they even step into the arena. Before someone starts a new business, they think, what if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I lose all my money? Before someone speaks English, they think, what if I make a mistake? What if they judge me? What if I look foolish? Before someone starts exercising, they think, what if I cannot stay consistent? What if I just quit again? And what happens? They stop. Nothing in the outside world stopped them. No one attacked them. No real failure happened at all. But mentally, they have already failed. That is the true power of the mind. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, but sometimes it protects you way too much. It imagines the worst possible scenarios. It creates deep fear from simple imagination. And the problem is, Imagination feels very real. Your heart starts beating faster. Your body becomes tense. Your confidence drops down, even though nothing has actually happened yet. This is what we call mental defeat. And mental defeat is much more dangerous than real defeat. Why? Because real defeat teaches you a lesson. But mental defeat stops you from even trying. There are always two voices inside you. The first voice says, go, try, grow, take a risk, improve. The second voice says, stay safe, do not embarrass yourself, just don't try. Most people listen to the safe voice because it feels comfortable. But comfort is very expensive. Comfort costs you your growth. Comfort costs you every opportunity. Comfort costs you your potential. The mind naturally chooses comfort, but success always chooses courage. People think that confident people are born that way. That is wrong. Confident people just win small battles in their minds every single day. They feel fear, but they act anyway. They feel doubt, but they move forward anyway. They feel discomfort, but they continue anyway. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is taking action despite the fear. And that action always begins in your mind. Lesson 3. The subconscious engine. Why do you repeat the same habits? Why does change feel so difficult? Why do you sometimes sabotage your own progress? It is because 95% of your behavior is controlled by your subconscious. This means that most of your life is running on autopilot. Your conscious mind is the driver, but your subconscious mind is the engine. And that engine is incredibly powerful. What exactly is the subconscious mind? It is a storage system. It keeps all your beliefs, your habits, your emotional memories, your repeated thoughts, and your deep identity. Whatever you repeat with emotion, your subconscious stores it. If you keep saying to yourself that you are bad at something, it stores that. If you repeatedly fail and tell yourself that you are useless, it stores that too. If you constantly run away from discomfort, it stores that pattern. Once something is stored deeply, it becomes automatic. That is why changing your life feels hard. You are fighting against your old programming. When you wake up in the morning and immediately check your phone without thinking, that is your subconscious. When you get angry and react without planning, that is your subconscious. When you procrastinate automatically, that is also your subconscious. You are not deciding consciously. The pattern is deciding for you. And that pattern lives deep inside. If you truly believe that you are lazy, you will behave in a lazy way. If you believe you are not disciplined, you will avoid discipline. Your subconscious always tries to match your actions with your identity. It wants consistency, even if that consistency is negative. That is exactly why people sabotage their own success. Success does not match their old identity, so they return to their comfort zone. Programming happens through repetition, emotion, authority, and experience. If an important person in your life repeated something about you, you believed it. If you had a painful experience, you created a belief. Your subconscious does not judge what is true or false. It just records everything and plays it back. But here is the good news. You are not stuck. You are just programmed, and programming can be changed. You do not change it through motivation alone. You change it through repetition, through strong emotions, through new actions, and through consistency. Step 1 is awareness. Notice your patterns. When do you quit? When do you doubt? When do you escape? Step 2 is to interrupt the pattern. When the old behavior appears, pause. Step 3 is to replace it. Choose a new action and do it again and again. Because repetition builds new wiring in your brain. If you do not control your subconscious, you will just repeat yesterday. But if you reprogram it, you will redesign your tomorrow. Your mind is not your enemy. It is a tool. But if you never train it, it will run on default settings. And default settings only create average results. You were not born weak. You were just programmed unconsciously. Now you are becoming aware, and awareness is the first step to true power. Lesson 4. The power of belief. What you choose to believe sets the limit for your life. There is something much more important than your intelligence, your natural talent, or even your opportunities. That thing is belief. Your beliefs decide how much of your potential you are actually going to use. Two people can have the exact same skills, but if one believes they can grow and the other believes they are stuck, their results will be completely different. Why? Because your belief determines your level of effort, and your effort determines your final outcome. A belief is not just a simple idea. It is something you accept as absolute truth without even questioning it. For example, telling yourself that you are bad at public speaking, that you are not good with money, or that you are just not a confident person. You might think these are facts about who you are, but they are not facts. They are just beliefs. And the important thing to remember is that beliefs are learned, not born. They are built from experiences in your childhood, emotional events, repeated failures, the words of other people, or the opinions of society. Maybe you failed at something once. Then your mind told you that you were not good enough. That one event turned into a belief, and that belief turned into a limit that shaped your future without you even noticing. Beliefs are invisible. You cannot see them, but they control everything you do. If you believe that making money is hard, you will never try your best. If you believe you always quit, you will quit again. If you believe you cannot change, you will never push yourself to be better. Your belief system is like a ceiling. If you believe you only deserve small success, you will never rise above that. It is not because you are incapable, but because your mind will not allow you to go higher. Your subconscious always tries to stay consistent with your beliefs. To change your life, you have to upgrade your belief system. Step 1. Identify it. Ask yourself, what do I really believe about myself? Write it down. Step 2. Question it. Is this belief actually true, or is it just based on one past failure or someone else's opinion? Step 3. Replace it. Instead of saying, I am not disciplined, say, I am learning to be disciplined. Instead of, I am bad at this, say, I am improving at this. Your new belief must feel possible to you. Then reinforce it with action, because action makes your belief stronger. You will never perform better than your belief system. So if your life feels limited, check your beliefs. Once you raise the ceiling in your mind, your life will rise naturally. Lesson 5. The self-talk rule. The voice inside your head either builds you up or breaks you down. Think about what you say to yourself when you fail or make a mistake. Do you say things like, I am so stupid, why do I always mess up? Or, I am just not good enough. Now imagine if you spoke to your best friend like that. You would never do it. But you talk to yourself like that every single day. And that internal voice is exactly what shapes your identity. Your subconscious is always listening to your words. It does not know if you are just joking or if you are feeling emotional. It just records every single repetition. If you repeatedly tell yourself that you are lazy, your brain eventually accepts it as a fact. If you keep saying that you cannot do something, your brain will naturally reduce your effort. If you tell yourself that you will fail, your body will lose its energy. Self-talk is essentially the programming code inside your mind. Inside you, there are two main voices. The first is the critic, which says you are not enough or you always quit. The second is the coach, which says, try again or learn from this. The critic makes you weaker while the coach makes you stronger. Most people let their inner critic speak much louder than their coach. That is why they stay stuck. Imagine someone learning English who makes a mistake while speaking. If their inner voice says, you are embarrassing yourself, they will naturally speak less next time. But if another person makes the same mistake and their voice says, good job, that is progress. They will speak even more. It is the same mistake, but a different self-talk, which leads to a completely different future. First, you must become aware. Notice the language you use. Then, replace the destructive words with constructive ones. This is not about fake positivity. It is about real leadership. Instead of saying, "I am terrible at this," say, "I am still learning." Instead of, "I failed," say, "I just got some feedback." Instead of, "I cannot handle this," say, "This is uncomfortable, but I am growing." Words matter because words create your identity. If you become your own supportive coach, your growth will speed up. If you become your own enemy, your growth will stop. Your mind is always listening to you. So, speak carefully, speak powerfully, and speak responsibly, because the person you talk to the most in your life is yourself. And that voice will either build your future or destroy it. Lesson 6. Focus is a superpower. A scattered mind will always stay average. In this modern world, everything is designed to destroy your ability to focus. You have notifications, social media scrolling, endless short videos, constant messages, noise, and the constant urge to compare yourself to others. Your brain is being pulled in 10 different directions at once. And here is the reality. A distracted mind can never become powerful. Most people do not fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they lack focus. They start one task, then they switch to another, then they scroll, then they reply to a message, then they overthink, and finally, they delay. Their mind is constantly jumping around. And every time your mind jumps, your progress stops. Focus is depth, and depth is what creates mastery. Every single time you switch between tasks, your brain loses energy. It takes a long time just to refocus. That is why, after you spend 30 minutes scrolling through your phone, you feel tired, even though you did not actually do anything. You did not work, you did not build, and you did not improve. But your brain is exhausted. That is the true cost of scattered attention. Focus means one task, one direction, one intention, and being fully present. It means when you study, you only study. When you work, you only work. When you train, you only train. When you speak to someone, you fully listen to them. Most people are never fully present. Their physical body is in one place, but their mind is somewhere else. That is a sign of weakness. Presence is power. You should start small. Try focusing for just 20 minutes. No phone, no distractions, just one single task. You must train your mind like a muscle. When your mind wants to escape or get distracted, you must bring it back. At first, it will feel hard, but that resistance is exactly where the training happens. Once your focus improves, your speed improves, your confidence improves, and your results will inevitably improve. Focus is a true superpower because a focused person becomes dangerous in a world full of distraction. If you can control your attention, you control your future. Because your attention decides what grows in your life. Where your focus goes, growth follows. Guard your attention carefully. It is more valuable than anything else. Lesson 7. Mental discipline. This chapter is what separates truly powerful people from those who are only driven by their emotions. Most people live their lives in a reactive state. Something happens and they immediately react. Someone insults them and they explode. Something goes wrong and they quit. Something feels uncomfortable and they run away. They are controlled by their impulses. But impulse is dangerous. A reaction is instant, while a response is intentional. A reaction is emotional, but a response is strategic. A reaction is weak, while a response is powerful. A reactive mind is unstable and unpredictable. An intentional mind is disciplined. When you react emotionally, you often say things you will regret later. You might quit too early, make poor decisions, damage your important relationships, or destroy your own momentum. Most of the problems in your life do not come from a lack of intelligence. They come from an emotional reaction. One angry text message, one impulsive decision, or one emotional argument can cause years of hard work to collapse. That is how dangerous a reactive mind is. You must learn to pause before you respond. When something triggers you, do not answer immediately. Take 5 to 10 seconds. Breathe deeply. Ask yourself, what is the smartest move I can make right now? That small pause creates control, and control creates power. Think about 2 employees who receive harsh criticism from their boss. Employee A reacts, gets angry, complains, feels attacked, and stops trying. Employee B pauses, listens, reflects, and decides to improve. After 1 year, who grows faster? It is the one who controlled their emotions. Not because the criticism felt good, but because their discipline was stronger than their ego. Notice what triggers you. What makes you angry? What makes you anxious? What makes you feel insecure? Once you know your triggers, you can delay your reaction. Train your pause. Always choose long-term results over short-term emotions. Because emotional satisfaction is only temporary, but a strategic response is incredibly powerful. Weak minds are controlled by their reactions, but strong minds choose their actions. Life will test you constantly with disrespect, failure, stress, and pressure. If you react to everything, you lose your energy. If you respond strategically, you gain power. Mental discipline is not about being emotionless. It is about being in control. And remember, the person who controls themselves cannot be controlled by anyone else. Lesson 8. Visualization. See it before it exists. Every great building you see, every revolutionary invention, and every success story existed in someone's mind first. Before it became real, it was imagined. Your brain cannot fully separate a vivid imagination from reality. When you visualize something clearly and with strong emotion, your brain activates the same neural pathways as if you were actually experiencing it. This means your mind is training for the future before it even arrives. This is not magic. This is mental rehearsal. Most people think visualization means just sitting and dreaming about success, hoping it will happen. No, that is just fantasy. Real, powerful visualization is detailed, intentional, and emotional. It is always connected to action. You do not just see the final result, you see the entire process. You see yourself working hard, struggling, improving, continuing, and winning slowly. Visualization without action is just daydreaming. Visualization with action is programming. Your subconscious mind listens to repetition and emotion. If you repeatedly visualize yourself as a confident person, your brain starts accepting that as a possibility. If you repeatedly imagine yourself speaking confidently, your anxiety will naturally reduce. If you see yourself disciplined, your daily behavior will start to align because the brain loves familiarity. Visualization makes success feel familiar. So when the real opportunity arrives, you do not freeze, you act. Imagine someone who is terrified of public speaking. Every night, they close their eyes and imagine themselves standing calmly, speaking clearly, and feeling steady. They see people listening to them, and they see themselves finishing strong. They feel the pride and the calm of confidence. They repeat this every day. After 30 days, when they actually stand on stage, it does not feel completely new to them. Their brain has been there before. Because of this, their fear reduces, their confidence increases, and taking action becomes much easier. That is mental rehearsal, and that is true power. Step 1. Be specific. Do not just imagine a vague success. Imagine clear, detailed scenes. Step 2. Add emotion. Feel the pride, the calm, and the strength. Step 3. See the obstacles. See yourself overcoming the difficulty. Step 4. Act daily. Visualization must be followed by real effort. Your mind believes what you repeatedly see and feel, and eventually it becomes your new identity. If you do not consciously create these mental pictures, your fear will create them for you. And fear-based imagination is destructive, but future-based imagination is powerful. See the person you want to become, see it daily, and then act like it. Your mind will slowly accept this new version of you. And once your mind accepts it, your reality will follow. Lesson 9. Kill the victim mindset. Take back control. This chapter is uncomfortable, but it is incredibly powerful. There are only two ways to live your life, as a victim or as a creator. A victim always says, "It is not my fault. I cannot do it because they stopped me," or "Life is just unfair." A creator always asks, "What can I control? What can I improve? What can I change? Or what is my next move?" It is the same life, but a different mind, which leads to completely different results. People often choose the victim mindset because it feels safe. If you blame others, you protect your ego, but you lose all your power. Blame gives you temporary comfort, but it removes your control. When you blame, you wait, you complain, and you justify why you are stuck. And eventually being stuck becomes your normal. Life is not always fair, but taking full responsibility is what gives you power. Even if something was not your fault, it is still your responsibility to respond. That shift changes everything, because responsibility creates action, and action creates progress. Pay attention to your language. If you say, "I cannot do this because someone stopped me," replace it with, "How can I find a way?" That small shift creates possibility. A victim mindset always focuses on the obstacles. A creator mindset always focuses on the solutions. When you accept responsibility, you might feel pressure, but that pressure is actually powerful because now the control is in your hands. You do not need perfect conditions to start. You need internal ownership. The moment you stop blaming, you start building. And building is what changes your life forever. Lesson 10. Reprogram your identity. You can set big goals, you can feel motivated, and you can write perfect plans. But if your internal identity stays the same, your results will never change. What is identity? It is simply how you see yourself. It is the story you repeat inside your head every day. I am lazy. I am shy. I am unlucky. I am bad with money. I am not confident. These sentences are incredibly powerful because your brain always tries to stay consistent with your identity. If you believe you are not disciplined, you will unconsciously avoid taking disciplined actions. If you believe you are not confident, you will unconsciously avoid taking bold risks. It is not that you cannot do these things. It is just that your brain wants to stay consistent with who you think you are. Let us say you want to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, but deep inside, you believe you are not a morning person. Guess what will happen? You might wake up early for a few days, but then you will return to your old habits. That is because your identity is pulling you back. Identity is much stronger than motivation. Identity changes through repeated proof, not just through positive thinking. You need small, consistent actions that confirm a new belief. Instead of just saying, "I want to be disciplined," start saying, "I am becoming a disciplined person." Then prove it daily. Wake up on time, finish your small tasks, control your phone usage, and exercise. Each action is evidence, and that evidence rewires your identity. You cannot build a powerful life with a weak identity. Upgrade your identity, and your standards will rise. Upgrade your standards, and your behavior will rise. Upgrade your behavior, and your life will rise. Everything starts with the words, "I am." Be very careful what follows that sentence. Lesson 11. Emotional energy. Your mind follows your feelings. Most people believe that life is a logical process, but the truth is, life is deeply emotional. Your emotions control your energy, Your energy dictates your actions, and your actions determine your results. Emotion is the glue that makes memories and beliefs stick in your brain. If you experience a failure with intense negative emotion, your brain remembers it vividly. If you experience success with strong positive emotion, your brain stores that as a powerful lesson. Many people live in a constant state of negative emotions like stress, anger, jealousy, fear, or resentment. When you live in these states daily, your brain gets programmed for negativity. Even small problems begin to feel like huge disasters. Your mind becomes heavy, your energy levels drop, and your confidence fades away. Your mind always follows your emotional state. If you feel strong, you will naturally think stronger thoughts. If you feel weak, you will think weaker thoughts. That is why emotional management is the most critical skill you can develop. Imagine two people preparing for a big competition. One person feels anxious and full of doubt. Their energy is low, their body is tense, and their thoughts are negative. The other person feels excited and deeply focused. Their energy is high, their body is ready, and their thoughts are powerful. Who performs better? The one with the better emotional state. It is the same skill level, but different energy leads to a different result. Step 1. Move your body. Emotion is physical. Change your posture, stand tall, and breathe deeply to shift your state instantly. Step 2. Control your input. What you watch, what you listen to, and what you consume every day affects your emotional state. Step 3. Practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to the abundance you already have. Step 4. Do hard things. Taking on difficult challenges creates a sense of power and accomplishment. If you let your emotions control you, your life will always be unstable. But if you learn to shift your emotional state, you become unstoppable. Remember, a strong mind requires strong energy, and strong energy leads to a strong direction. You simply cannot think powerful thoughts while living in a cycle of constant negativity. Protect your emotional state because it is the foundation upon which your mind is built. Lesson 12. Train your mind through discomfort. Pain is the gym for your brain. Let me tell you something most people try to avoid. Your mind does not grow when you are comfortable. It only grows when you face resistance. Every time you choose to avoid discomfort, your mind gets a little bit weaker. But every time you intentionally face discomfort, your mind becomes stronger. This is not just motivational talk, it is a neurological fact. Your brain builds new strength when it faces a challenge, just like your muscles grow when they are pushed to their limit. Most people avoid everything that feels uncomfortable. They avoid hard conversations, difficult tasks, rejection, criticism, cold mornings, silence, or loneliness. They escape by scrolling through their phones, distracting themselves, or delaying their work. And every time they choose to escape, their mind learns that this comfort is a danger. So the next time they face a challenge, their fear increases, and that fear controls them even more. This is how weakness is built, not by one big failure, but by thousands of small avoidances. If something feels uncomfortable, it is usually a sign of growth. If your life feels easy all the time, you are likely stagnating. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it steals your future. Discomfort feels painful now, but it builds the future you want. You have to decide which pain you prefer, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Remember, regret is much heavier and it lasts a lifetime. Imagine someone who is afraid of speaking in public. Every time they get an opportunity, they run away. Their fear grows bigger every time. Now imagine they decide to speak, even if their voice shakes. The first time is very uncomfortable. The second time is still hard, but the third time is slightly easier. After a few months, confidence appears, not because the fear disappeared, but because repetition in discomfort built true mental strength. The same rule applies to everything: the gym, business, learning a new language, leadership, and life itself. Discomfort is your training ground. Every single day, do one thing that challenges you. It does not have to be extreme, just uncomfortable. Speak up, wake up early, finish the hardest task first, say no when you need to, or have that difficult conversation. Push through 1 extra minute. These small daily acts of discomfort build resilience, and resilience creates unstoppable confidence. When you train your mind through discomfort, you stop fearing pressure, failure, or judgment because you have proof. You have the proof that you can handle it. And once you truly believe you can handle life, life stops feeling scary. That is real power. Your life will not change just because the world changes. It will change when your mind changes. You can keep blaming the economy, your difficult past, your parents, or your own past mistakes. But the moment you decide that your mind is under your own control, everything starts to shift. You are not your past failures. You are not your old identity. You are not your fears. You are the one who observes them, and the observer always has the power. Right now, in this very moment, you have 2 choices. You can let your mind run on its old default programming, or you can choose to reprogram it. You can let fear lead the way, or you can let discipline take the wheel. You can let your excuses speak, or you can let your growth speak. No one else can make this choice for you. Not motivation, not inspiration, and not opportunity. Only you. Your mind is not weak. It is simply untrained. Train it, discipline it, feed it carefully, protect it, and strengthen it every single day. Because once your mind becomes strong, your life becomes much lighter. Problems turn into lessons. Pressure turns into fuel. Failure turns into feedback, and success becomes possible. This is not magic. This is mental mastery. And mental mastery changes everything. Remember this one important thing. Before you win in the world, you must win in your mind. Before you change your life, you must change your thinking. Once your thinking changes, your direction changes. And once your direction changes, your destiny follows. Your mind can be your prison, or it can be your greatest weapon. Decide today. Train it, build it, and create the life you truly deserve.